welcome you guys to my, The Last Kingdom Season 1, Episode 2 review, Part 1. So, yeah, pretty much this also begins with Uhtred and Brita pretty much on horseback, trying to get away from Uhtred's uncle and his men. So, they're able to escape them, and Uhtred's uncle pretty much says, listen, I want him found. We're going to go as far as fucking Mercia, but he has to die. So after that, you have Uhtred pretty much say that, damn, he looks a lot like my father. Then he goes on to say to Brita that pretty much, I'm going to kill him, but I'm going to need the help of Uba and his army. And then, I'll get my kingdom back that was owed and promised to me. So pretty much they're walking, they continue on their journey. They're walking and they go by a village. And they pretty much the village is pretty much decimated and destroyed. Only one guy survives and he's shooting an arrow at them. So Uhtred, he's pretty much, I believe the guy stopped. Yeah, he stopped because Brita throws a fucking axe at the dude, breaks his back. So Uhtred asks him what happened, who came here, and pretty much he said the Danes. The guy that had the axe in his back said the Danes came, and he was just like, what? That wouldn't make sense. Why would they come here do this? And the guy said pretty much because there was a Saxon slave who killed his master. So pretty much Brita and Uhtred find out news has come out that Uhtred was the one that killed Earl Ragnar, when that was obviously entirely false and was not the case and not how it really went down. So at this point, Uhtred's kind of like trapped between a rock and a hard place. He has to, some way, some shape, some fashion, have to get, you know, Abba, Abba to listen to his story and agree with him, you know. But the way Brita said, listen, she was like, listen, there are two stories, all right, that's going on. I was going to go for the first story that comes his way. And what was the first story? That you killed Earl Ragnar. You know what I mean? So, pretty much, Uhtred's like, I have no choice. I have to try to convince him. So later in the night, whatever, you know, I... What else happened later in the night? No, there was a scene beforehand. We see the priest, the kindly old priest, Uhtred's teacher. Um, he, he walks in on Prince Alfred getting his freak on. He literally just catches the girl on her way out. And then Alfred's ashamed, like saying, I'm sorry. I'm married. I shouldn't be cheating on my wife like that. I should be going, this is not a way a man of God should see me. You know what I mean? I should go to a monastery and all that crap. And, and the priest's like, listen, relax, man. Just chill, pretty much. He also says, you know what? You should have um, that servant be your personal servant. And then Alfred's like, no, I can't have it. I can't do that. And then pretty much, I believe the priest said, listen, the world's full of temptations, my lord, you know, and when we fall into those temptations, the Danes are the Lord's punishment. But let this be, in a way, a situation on how to control your impulses. I like the way how he played that. So besides that, you have the priest try to convince Alfred that about the story about Uhtred killing Ragnar. As you guys know, we know pretty much that didn't happen. But he pretty much says that obviously there's still English in him, you know, and he believes that Uhtred should be trusted and they should bring him in as their own, you know. But Alfred's kind of hesitant. He's like saying, listen, how long has he been away? He's been away for like at least a decade. And plus, the child, this Uhtred, you knew him as a child, not a man. Like maybe he just killed the dude for the joy of it. That's what Danes tend to like to do, you know. Either way, it's not me. It's not my thing to judge. He said he'll, maybe he is what you are, but right now I got more important things to deal with. Um, by the way, the priest mentions about the council too. So Alfred goes, to his brother's council. His brother is the king, obviously. But the priest also mentions that if his brother was to die, Alfred would be the king. And most people would expect Alfred to be the king anyway, since Alfred was anointed by Rome as the true next king, as the king, literally. So, they get to the throne. So he's a part of the council, and they're discussing about King Edmund, and East Anglia. So, pretty much, one of the guys said that he feels as though King Edmund did that, let the Danes take over, rule it pretty much, because of a deeper reason, more of a corrupt reason, you know. And I believe that Alfred said, "Nah, that's not the case. Edmund's too much of a Christian man," and pretty much he probably did that as a way to try to convert them from the heathen way to the Christian way, the right way, but failed pretty much. So either way, everyone pretty much agrees with Alfred, but they all agree in accordance that they're not going to help, you know, they're not going to help King Edmund, despite him sending a letter for them to bring a standing army to help him out. They're like, pretty much, nah, we can't help you, bruh, too late. So pretty much they consider themselves Wessex, the last kingdom, the only stronghold left to defeat these pagan heathens, whatever. So you have the king pretty much say, listen, he's telling the scribe, you know, to make sure all the men know about the iron, how much iron is needed. Tell one of his other soldiers I think he told his other soldiers, this old guy, well, not older guy, probably middle-aged guy, that pretty much to watch Mercia, London, you know, let them know about the latest news, whatever. And pretty much says that he needs strong men. You know what I mean, strong men who are willing to die. Because it's the only way we can end this, you know, this shit with the Northmen. So the next scene, you have Uhtred and Brida looking literally at the hammers of war in East Anglia. That shit was burnt. That shit literally was burnt to the ground. It was just, ugh. But yeah. And, you know, I remember Brida or Uhtred said that Round, the old man who was Earl Ragnar's father, said to never fight Ube. You know what I mean? So, turns out, Uhtred said that. Uhtred was like, turns out Round was right, you know? So, the next scene, you have them talking. And you have Brida mentioning that, remember, Ube is unpredictable. He listens to the words of the gods, a.k.a. the seer. And Uhtred's like, yeah, I know that he is, and the seer is half mad himself, you know. She says, so what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to come to him as a man. And, you know, she's also trying to figure out, well, we have to figure out something else, you know, more certified. That way you can live, you know. So Uhtred talks about humping and that they're destined to hump. And Brida's down, you know. Brida's like, you know. And then they're sitting down, they're sleeping, where they're just lying down. He's all saying, you know, I'm dreaming about it. She's like, well, it's not going to happen. What do you know? Uhtred gives it to her. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't vaginal. So pretty much during this little interesting sexapade, she pretty much comes up with an idea. They need a hostage, you know, to pretty much get in. So they use her as a hostage in order to get in, you know, to meet up with Ube over in East Anglia. And they're able to get the seer. And it was this funny scene exchange in which, you know, the seer is saying, I don't need a woman. And then Uhtred pretty much says that she's a sorceress woman, you know, and all that stuff. So that makes him more, like, interested. And I think he said he's going to give her over to Ube. But pretty much the girl's like, nah, bitch, nah. She just threw the dude down, and she had him with the knife, right at knife point. And pretty much the guy says that Ube's going to be there. So Uhtred's like, okay, all right, I'll meet him here. So pretty much he leaves the crazy seer guy with Brida. So before I leave, you know, part one of my review, you know, I'm going to have the next review in about a few minutes. We see King Edmund look like his ass been beat the hell up. He's bleeding from the right side of his head, and he's pretty much tied on the cross. How ironic, you know, tied up. And then we hear Ube's voice echo as he comes in with Guthrum. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it off. And if you guys can like this video, subscribe to my channel, and write some comments down below. I greatly appreciate it. Part 2 coming to you.